Welcome to the Fit Women's Weekly Strength Studio. Today we are adding to our exercise database by going over the Renegade Row. The Renegade Row is an awesome pulling exercise, and it's great to be able to do with dumbbells or kettlebells instead of just always doing a bent over row, and it's one of the few pulling exercises that we can do here in our studio where you're not hanging and doing pull-ups and stuff. But before we get into it, if you love learning new exercises and you love getting stronger, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button because it really does help. So like I mentioned, you can do this with dumbbells or kettlebells, but I prefer doing it with dumbbells because with a kettlebell, the way that it's shaped, you're gonna have to fight a little bit harder to maintain your balance. And also, it's a decreased range of motion because that handle is so high up. But don't worry, I'll show you at the end, if you are gonna be using kettlebells, how to go about it. So first, let's cover the dumbbell Renegade Row. All right, so get down on the ground and let's actually go over Renegade Rows. With a dumbbell first, I'm just gonna do a single. So I'm gonna plant my hand down on the ground, my fingers nice and wide so I can grip into the ground with my feet as close together as possible. This elbow is locked, starting with the weight underneath my shoulder. I'm gonna row up and down. Up, pull it down. Bringing those shoulder blades back in together, pulling our core in the entire time. Now, if you have two and you want to make it a little bit harder on yourself because you can't grip into the floor as much, you can have both of your hands on your dumbbells, and this might be a little bit more friendly on your wrist because instead of having your wrist planted down here, you're in a more neutral position with them. So now I'm going to push down into the handle. Again, feet closer and row up, down. As you go heavier, you might find for support and stability, you have to open your feet a little bit wider, which is fine, but try not to extend past hip width apart. One thing that you want to avoid is letting your butt rise up. This is going to put a lot of pressure on the shoulders, and also you're going to be avoiding actually using your back. So keep your booty down, core tight, row up, row down. Now let me show you a variation, and it's alternating. So instead of doing them all on one side, we can go back and forth. We're gonna have our hands on both weights, shoulders over the wrist, feet as close together as possible. Pull your core in, booty down, and row up. Bring it straight back down underneath the shoulder before you row on the other side. Don't let those weights come out in front of you. You wanna keep them underneath you. Make sure you're controlling the up and the down and not just letting the weight hammer down. Here's your kettlebell variation. So I've got my kettlebell and I wanted to put it side by side so you can see that handle is so much higher, which means it's going to change the range of motion that I'm able to row. I'm gonna be pulling it up a lot less than I would with the dumbbell. But the idea is the same. I'm gonna have my hand on the ground, bring that kettlebell underneath my shoulder, feet as close together as possible, row up, row down. Now notice it's about, what Dan, like about a foot? I'm going to. And then when I grab this one, because my hand's starting so much lower and closer to the ground, it's much more efficient at hitting up that pull exercise and being able to actually row it a lot more. What you do with one, we can do with two. But again, be very careful because of the balance of kettlebells. You gotta go a little bit slower so that you don't slip and fall on your face. Right underneath. My feet are gonna come a little bit wider than keeping them so close so I can maintain good balance. I'm gonna make sure I find balance in the center of my handle before I row up. Because I have the two handles now, I'm elevated the same. It now makes me able to row the same distance as with the dumbbells. So that's how to fix it if you are using a kettlebell. And that is the Renegade Row. If you have questions, ask below. I respond to every comment and question that is asked in here. And remember to like and subscribe. But if you want to actually start using the Renegade Row more in your workout, but you're not sure how to do it, come check out Fit Women's Weekly Live, my online streaming studio where I go live every day. I will put the link down in the description.